What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. If you guys know what is going on with DJ Akademiks, Megan Thee Stallion has a lawsuit against Milagro Grams Cooper for defamation, harassment, and orchestrating harassment. Basically, she has some level of proof that Tory Lanez had paid her. And as we know, basically, Akademiks was going back and forth with, Meg Thee Stallion on X and calling her a liar and then taking Tory Lanez's side, right? So this lawsuit, it's not against DJ Akademiks. It is against Milagro Grams Cooper for cyberbullying, harassment, and all of the surrounding narratives tied to the shooting in 2020. However, DJ Akademiks has been subpoenaed by Roc Nation, which is Megan's management team, and he had to provide a deposition testimony in the defamation case, all right? This defamation lasted about 7 hours, all right? Now, what I would like to do is, again, play this clip so that you can see a little bit of what happened.
I've ever been and asked.
Right, you say it basically anywhere and anywhere you've ever been and as loudly and publicly as you can, correct?
Yeah, if I'm speaking my personal opinion, yeah, of course.
Okay, and just so that I'm clear, you were not present on June 12th, 2020 when Miss Pete was shot, right?
No, I wasn't.
You weren't at the party, correct?
No.
You weren't in the car, right? You weren't on the street, correct?
No.
You weren't a witness at all whatsoever, right?
I was not.
So you couldn't actually say that you knew that Tory did not shoot Miss Pete because you weren't present, right?
Yeah, I'm not unequivocally saying that it didn't happen. What I'm saying is...
I'm sorry, hold on. Start again because there was something I didn't hear clearly. Go ahead.
I wouldn't say, 100% this is the fact. I'm telling you my personal opinion and my belief. That chick is a liar, and I don't believe liars. So, her story, again, I accept the verdict. I accept all of this stuff. I don't accept a liar. I think she's a liar. She was a liar then. She's a liar now. She's going to be a liar tomorrow. And, yeah, that's it.
Do you believe she perjured herself on the stand at the criminal trial? Is that reason?
I wouldn't know. That would be something the prosecutors would have to answer. But that, we've rarely seen.
Just personally hold and keep to yourself, right?
I've said this anywhere I've ever been and asked.
Right. You say it basically anywhere and anywhere you've ever been and as loudly and publicly as you can, correct?
Yeah. If I'm speaking my personal opinion, yeah, of course.
Okay. And just so that I'm clear, you were not present.
Okay, so that was a clip, but let me just say this. During the deposition, he had repeatedly been asked several things. Number one, had he ever been paid by major artists, Drake, Tory Lanez, or Nicki Minaj, to influence or comment on the case? All of these are either rivals to Meg Thee Stallion or Roc Nation, all right? Now, you heard what he said. He called Meg Thee Stallion a liar. Again, Meg Thee Stallion did lie, especially about sleeping with Tory Lanez. That was evident with Gayle King. All right. But then there's a lawyer that commentated on the mistake that Akademiks made.
Akademiks had to sit through 7 hours. 7 hours is normal. 7 hours is normal. So it sounds crazy. He did not prepare for it. And he did not have an attorney there. Your attorney needs to be there because your attorney should be actively objecting to certain questions that could be decided later on if you have to answer. There's a lot of questions. The way they ask the question is important. You may feel like we're going over something again and again and again, but they're actually trying to ask you questions that specifically go into the elements of defamation. I have made so many defamation videos. I cannot go over it one more time. But there's certain elements that you need to prove. And one of them is saying it in a public place, is saying it in a place where other people can hear it. Where did you say these things? That's even one of the clips. Where did you say these things about Megan? He gonna say on the internet where I told everyone who ever listened to me. What? No, that is not the way. No. Why would you say that? Why would you say it like that? Like, even if he's going to go with the defense, which is it's his opinion, why would you say that you told everybody that would listen to you?
So basically here, Akademiks, as you can see on this live stream, did not have any attorneys present with him, okay? And so being an untrained lawyer, and you're up against Roc Nation, and now they're asking you questions, even though the lawsuit isn't about you, but your lawyer can protect you from you saying certain things, which I definitely agree. Now, here's the other problem. DJ Akademiks is a public figure. So is Megan Thee Stallion. So public figures are held to a higher standard with spreading misinformation. In other words, if Akademiks knew that, number one, Tory Lanez was convicted, that Tory Lanez did what he did according to the courts, and that Akademiks spread other information outside of that, and he continued to do it maliciously, this could lead, and again, remember, Akademiks is into it with Roc Nation. It could lead to the same spectacle that happened with Cardi B and Tasha K, all right? And so now what you're seeing is these celebrities like Megan Thee Stallion flex their muscle on independent creators. This is where it's going now. Now the industry is getting involved in this. Let me just tell you even about celebrity. 3-4 years ago, making videos about celebrities, it wasn't as dangerous. And still to this day, you can pretty much say certain things on YouTube. But to go back and forth, to make tweets, to make posts, to say this or that, it's not as safe anymore. And Cardi B proved that, right? With Tasha K. It's not that. So if you're going to show up to a deposition, in all honesty, what needs to happen here is you should have an attorney, so that at least your attorney can object to some of the questions that you can't understand, because these are lawyers. And then again, like she said, they're asking you the question in many different ways to try to catch you up in things. And if you're a person that's a untrained testifier, then, you know, over a period of 7 hours, you can make a lot of mistakes. The main thing is this: men in hip hop and hip hop reporting are just going to have to stay away from talking about women in a very negative way. I'm talking about in the way that Akademiks talked about Megan Thee Stallion. I'm talking about the way the Akademiks talked about, in this case, SZA. Every time you see Akademiks having a certain issue like this, it's gonna come back to, okay, not only are you tied up in spreading false statements or false opinions to your audience, which is a large audience, now here's the situation, a price he pays. You're now defaming women, black women, okay? Now, even if you're not convicted and you're on trial at all, but the perception of the public opinion is then start to be carried on to sponsorships or affiliations. And then that's when you start to lose. Okay, so you're spreading your, X, Y, and Z narrative about black women or women. And it's easy for them, and almost all the attorneys are women anyway. So now you come into the person that, hey, you're against women. Here's Akademiks. And then you start adding up all of the things, right? And then so now what happens is people can start to not only ruin you when it comes to legally, but then people just start blocking you, and you're playing around with industry giants. Like, let's say a company like Pernod Ricard, second biggest alcohol brand. They have Jameson, Martell. Company like Hennessy. You start a war with Hennessy, all right? And you don't like what Hennessy is doing. A company like Hennessy don't gotta beat you in court. Pernod Ricard ain't gotta beat you in court, okay? Pernod Ricard, or any company like that, has enough power to shift your future in certain industries without even saying a word, okay? That's what we think happened with Diddy, okay? So once you start playing with companies like Roc Nation, you start playing with people like that. And don't get me wrong, Akademiks is the truth, but he's by himself. He's not what Jay-Z is. He's not what Roc Nation is. None of us are. And once Roc Nation wants you, they ain't gotta always play fair. All of a sudden, whatever you got out there that you don't want nobody to see, and Akademiks has enough crash outs out there, and then now people are not playing fair, they're not playing legally now. And then now all of a sudden, then you are blocked. Being overconfident. Your opportunities are blocked. And then folks start spinning a different narrative that ain't got nothing to do with the law. That's why guys like Akademiks, man, they gotta stay from commentating on females negatively, calling bad names, calling women liars, whatever. You're gonna have to stay away from that. You're gonna have to. If Glorilla does certain things a Cardi B does certain things, as a man, you're gonna stay away from that. If you're gonna make an opinion, it needs to be very clear, but going in on them, it's not gonna happen. Because people gonna start to try to, they're gonna show you and then say, hey, okay, you think you all that? Let me show you that you're not really like that. And again, he's already, I'm not saying he's making mistakes here, but he should have had an attorney with him on his side after defamation. He should, for the kind of work that he does, he should have an attorney on file at all times. I'm pretty sure he is. And that attorney should be a top attorney. And because Roc Nation had like 6 attorneys. You ain't got one? So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again. Another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We out.